Yo, what is going on, guys? You know who it is. It's your boy John Pinet, aka The Animal. And today's topic, we're going to be covering multi-joints and single joint movements. If you guys don't know what that is, don't go anywhere. Stick around. I'm going to be explaining everything there is to know about multi-joint, single joints, and how those movements affect your workouts either in a positive or a negative way. Alright, so don't go anywhere, guys. This video might be helpful for most of you guys that start off your workouts in the incorrect form, I can say. All right, so don't go anywhere, guys. All right. Make the ground shake. Oh, what's going on, guys? I know you guys was back already. So let's get straight into it. Basically, if you guys don't know what multi-joint, single joint movements are, is basically, if you really put your mind into it, it's self-explanatory. Multi-joint, so multi means more than one. Joint, your joints. Joints. You know, what connects, what have you fucking move your arms, your knees, and all that, right? Right? So, multi-joint means pretty much it's like two movements in one. Single joint is one movement. Alright, so let me start off with multi-joint exercises so most of you guys can get a clear understanding of where I'm going with this video. Alright, so example of a multi-joint exercise, a bench press. You're benching, right? The reason why this is a multi-joint is because your elbow is doing this. At the same time, your shoulder rotator cuff is going forward and back. So at the end of the day, it's a multi-joint because you're not just, come on, put your brain into it. You're going like this. Your shoulder is moving, right? You're just not going like this, right? Your arm is extending with it. Your elbow is extending with your shoulder. So it makes it a multi-joint because your elbow is extending and your shoulder is extending as well as one, so it makes it a multi-joint exercise. So that's an example of a multi-joint exercise. Now a single joint will pretty much be like bicep curls. This is a single joint because all you're moving is your elbow. If you're doing the perfect form, most of you guys do all this and gonna snap your back one day. Most of you guys fucking going back, arching your back, swinging, using some of your shoulder momentum. It's a single joint. So you keep perfect form, stay, elbows to the side, come up, down, down. It's a single joint movement because only your elbow is moving, right? You don't want to be doing this. You don't want to be going like this because then you're gonna start activating your backs, right? So that's an example of a single joint movement. So multi-joint is more than one activated to perform that exercise, and a single joint is just one joint activated to perform that exercise. So where I'm trying to go with this on this topic is understand multi-joint and single joint exercises, because most of you guys I see in the gym, like say if you're doing bicep and back, right? I see most guys, at first I won't think, oh, he's coming in here for bicep and back. You know, say if you come up and in, you come in the gym and you start doing bicep curls. You know, I might be like, okay, probably he's just doing arms today, right? Probably just working on his bicep, then he might go into tricep, right? That's a common split, doing a bicep with tricep, only single joint movements, right? But then if you was to move on to doing back, say if your split was back and bicep, and I just seen you doing bicep curls, right? And now you're about to do like probably 3 more exercises bicep, and then you move on to back. Think about it. You just did single joint. You started off with a single joint movement, bicep, right? You just fatigued your bicep in like 4 exercises with however many reps. That's it. You already put your bicep to work, and it's most likely already get fatigued, right? If you're gonna move on to back now, you're not gonna be as strong as you may think. Because one, you gotta remember, when you work out back, there's a reason why it's a back and bicep split. Because when you're doing it, right? For example, if you're doing cable rolls, right, or T-bar rolls, right, this movement, right, shoulder and elbows is moving with it as well. You're activating your back and your bicep. If you just fatigue your bicep before going into a back exercise, you're not gonna be very strong. You're not gonna be able to perform as well when you're working on back, because now your bicep is already fatigued. So most of you guys have to understand, do your multi-joint exercises first. Stop going into the gym doing single joint movements. Another example, rather than a back and bicep, that's an example. If you're doing a back and bicep split, don't go straight into working on your bicep. Work on your back first, because your bicep is working as well when you're working on your back. Then that's when you move on to your biceps. After you finish off blowing out your bicep, after that, once you're back, you already fatigued it, you put in that work. For chest, say if you're doing chest and tricep, right? Start out, usually everybody start off with a bench press. That's a multi-joint exercise. Is this, like I explained not too long ago, right? You start off with a bench. That's what mainly everybody does when they doing chest day, right? Then after that, after you do a couple chest exercises, right, dumbbells, or whatever exercise you guys do, and then you go into the isolation for your chest as well, right? That's when you go into your tricep. That's when you go into your skull crushers, your tricep pull downs, right? But work your multi-joint exercises first. So bench will obviously go first, then dumbbells, and then whatever else you guys do, push-ups, weighted push-ups, or weighted dips, whatever it is, then that's when you work your tricep. When you're doing your legs, you don't just go up in there and start off with leg extensions unless you're warming up, right? I sometimes do that when I'm about to do legs. I probably start off with leg extensions, hamstrings, light though. Go for a couple reps just to get the blood going and warm up, right? But I won't already start putting a lot of weight and actually that's my exercise. No, I start off with squats. That's what mainly everybody starts with. You start with the multi-joint and the primary, like basically the hardest exercise there is for that muscle, because you want to use all your energy once you walk in that gym for the hardest exercise and bang it out hard. Then from there, you start moving on, single joint, do your leg extensions, your calves, whatever it is, right? Shoulders. You're not going to go up in there and start doing lateral raises right off the back unless you're warming up. I warm up, that's how I warm up. Warm up at like 15 on this side, 15 forward, and then 15 back, right? To warm up my shoulder, like 2 sets. But I won't actually make that my workout. I'll probably just warm it up just to get the blood in, But mainly my shoulder workout will start off with some shoulder presses, right? That's a multi-joint. That's mainly what everybody does. Or military press, right? You go with your dumbbells, whatever the case may be. But you don't immediately start with single joint movements, because that's just going to take out the benefit afterwards. You're going to be much weaker once you already started with a single joint movement, and now you're going to go into the multi-joint. You're already basically fatigued one of the muscles that's going to be working in order for you to perform that multi-joint exercise, right? And I think I covered pretty much everything. Chest with tricep, back with bicep, shoulders, legs. Now, if you're going to be doing that bicep and tricep split, then that's pretty much acceptable. You could go up in there and just do straight single joints, your single joint, these, tricep pull downs, skull crushers, one arm skull crushers, whatever it is that you do to work your bicep and tricep split day, right? That's mainly one of those days that everything is mainly single joint movements, right? So with that day, just doing single joint is allowed, right? For most people. For me, it's cool, right? Because you're doing bicep, tricep. There's mainly no, you're working on bicep, tricep by itself. There's no primary muscle that has to be used for a multi-joint to be activated, right? But when you're doing the big group splits like back and bicep, chest and tricep, shoulders, right? When you do shoulders, your tricep is activated. So I'll say if you're doing like a chest and tricep on a Monday, I'll say hit shoulders on a Thursday, just so that you can let that tricep heal, from when you hit chest and tricep. You don't want to be fatigued too much on your tricep when you're about to hit shoulders, right? But pretty much the bottom line is start with multi-joint exercises if you're doing the most common split, right? If you're doing the chest with tricep, back with bicep, shoulders, if you do shoulders with tricep again, that's fine. When you do your legs, and then of course when you do bicep and tricep, that's usually when single joint movements is the only time you actually do it by yourself, right? But hope you guys understand the message I was trying to get across. This is how you're gonna make your workouts more effective as possible. Do not start with single joint exercises if you're running a split that has to do with a multi-joint at the end of the day. Like I mentioned, the back and bicep, work it back first, then you move on to bicep. When you're doing chest day, start with your chest first, then you work it to your tricep. Doing shoulders, you're gonna do tricep with it, work your shoulders first, then your tricep. You're doing legs, start off with the squats, the leg press, then you move on to the hamstrings and quads and calves, whatever, right? So I pretty much cover everything. You know, you want to do your abs, you do your abs every other day. You throw your traps every other day. You know what it is. It's common. That's it. So, hope you guys got the message. I hope I explained it as simple as possible. And you guys got it through your heads. Now, if you guys are one of those people that used to start off with single joint and then go into your multi-joint, now I made this video, so I hope I help you so you can correct that and get the most beneficial and effective workout as possible for the best results as possible, so you could be making these kind of gains. I know you see that. I know you see that. Those vascularity, man. You see that? Come on, man. Stop watching the damn video. Ha!